Welcome to Your Hair Made Simple, the podcast where we encourage you to embrace your natural hair with clarity, confidence, and courage. I'm your host, Shannon, and today we're diving into another episode of season 2 where we're talking about how it's more than just our hair. Really coming from the place that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Our hair is a part of us, it guides the experiences that we navigate through, and that's important. So today we are diving into a topic that I am hoping that I do justice to, but I'm very excited to talk about. Essentially, of learning to care for natural hair and curly hair that is different than your own hair. And this derives from the experience of parents who may or may not be Black, right? Um, Giving birth and caring for children's hair whose curl patterns are different than theirs. And that can come from, as our guest today will share her experience of being a Black mother with a white husband raising their biracial kids. And we use biracial because that's important in this context, but also from experiences of other people and other parents of other ethnicities giving birth with Black partners and raising children with Black hair or curly hair of any time, because curly hair is also not a specifically Black experience. And so we wanted to just talk today about that learning that comes with having your hair, giving birth to kids, and having to navigate a curl pattern or just a hair experience that is very different than the one that you have had with your own hair. And so with me today, I have our guest, Brittany Galvin. I am so excited to have her on. She is a wife and a mother to two beautiful children named Sophia and Elias. Sophia is 3.5 years old and Eli is 10 months. And she is currently a full-time stay-at-home mom, and she is raising these two children who look alike but are also incredibly different, and then keeping her families together. Prior to this and being a stay-at-home mom, as of in the last couple of months, Brittany has a bachelor's degree in biology, and she has worked in the pharmacy space, most recently as a private authorization specialist for specialty medicines with Caremark. And so all that to say, she has been busy, working hard, being a mom, taking care of her family, and learning how to navigate two cute little curly kids' hair who is different than her own hair. And if you're watching this video, you will see that Brittany's hair is actually in locks. So just navigating caring for natural hair in a variety of different contexts and spaces. So Brittany, thank you so much for joining us today. I will turn it over to you to go ahead and say hello and share how long you have been natural.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm overjoyed to be here and share my experience. I pray and hope that this blesses someone and gives them the strength and the courage to be able to forge ahead in the storm and the chaos and the confusion. And maybe it provides a little bit of clarity. So hopefully this will give some mama or some grandma or auntie or whoever's caring for some hair that you can do this. You got it. Because I figured it out. I can figure it out. Anyone can do it, because I don't even like to do my own hair. So to get two little curly haired cuties and have to do it, yeah, you can make it work. I have been natural for 13 years now. I did the math, so it's right. I was 18 and I was tired of just having super short hair that was kind of stringy because I had permed it for so long and it was breaking off here or getting caught on my hoodie and snapping off and having horrible ends. And they're like, we have to cut it. And I'm like, cut it. It's already to my ears. Like, it's already so short.
What
So,
else is there?
yeah. And at some point, Jan will tell you, I had my little goat tail with my little bow for cheerleading, and so I made it work. And they're like, well, you have to wear a headband. I was like, I am not wearing a headband. So I was determined to have my little ponytail. So yeah, it's been a journey, but we've gone from permed hair to big hair to braids and back and forth. I had a weave for my wedding that my loving, God bless him, my darling husband took out. I was like, you sure you don't have experience with this before? But yeah. So we've been through it all, and now we've landed in locks, and at current it's doing what I need it to do with my busy little toddler and new baby. So yeah, 13 years and locks is where we've landed.
Absolutely. And I I love your journey because I think you've just boldly experimented, you know what I mean? Like, and so two additional notes before I go forward. One, this conversation is not to say like this is the method to care for all biracial hair because it's very different, but just to shed light on kind of like the process and experience of learning, and to give encouragement in that way. Because any type of hair you have to learn how to do. And two, in addition to all the lovely things that I said about Brittany, she is also one of my best friends, and I am the godmother to these two curly haired cuties that she is talking about. And so, having seen this natural journey in particular, I remember in high school in the winter, and you would wear scarves, and it would constantly break off your hair, and that would be something that you would talk about, just like in that winter season, your hair constantly breaking off. So, like getting it braided to minimize that. And then even once you start to go natural, like what I loved about your natural phase is like you fully just embrace the fro. Like you fully just embrace like this is my fro, like it's happy, it's breathing. And you would twist it and do other things with it, but you were just also very okay to let your hair be. And I think that was really powerful too, because sometimes people feel like natural hair has to have a specific look and it has to have like a specific curl pattern. And then now share a little bit about how long you have been locked.
It has been, it'll be 1 year, 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
So starting out, my hair was probably about shoulder length.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember I went to my consultation and I said, so how short is this going to be when I get starter locks? And he was
Yeah.
like, well, like when you take a shower and you wash your hair and when you come out. And I was like, okay, that's not too bad. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was a lot longer than I anticipated it would be. Because I thought I was going to be walking around with like, these itty bitty like
So,
inchworms hanging off my
yeah.
head. Yeah, so it was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, you know what? This is where we are. It's fine. Shannon can attest, I get very scissor happy. And I'm like, oh, just cut it off. It's fine. It's just hair. It'll grow back.
Yeah.
And my excuse a lot of the times would be, it's going to be braided. No one's going to see it. So what does it matter? So I just chop, chop away. I didn't care. So yeah, it's been a journey though. I still have to do it and I still have to wash it on my own in between these retwists and pray that my edges don't look crazy because y'all can see I need a retwist, but I haven't done it. But your girl's kind of busy. So, but you just wash it in the meantime and handle your business. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been incredibly convenient. And for right now, it is doing all of the things I prayed it would do, which was free up space.
Yeah.
Because God bless him, my darling new baby Elias is clingy. And he is, as my chiropractor calls him, a high needs baby.
So,
So he
yeah.
wants my hip and he wants to nurse and be held and picked up and mama to carry him around. So I don't always have time to sit and twist my hair and do a twist out or do
Yeah.
a 2 hour deep condition.
No,
Stuff,
I
you
think that's
know?
so valid of like finding what works for you and with
Yes,
your hair as well. And so for those who do have locks, we will have an episode upcoming just talking about locks and the experience of caring for
can't
them.
wait.
I'm very excited for that one as well. But Brittany, for yourself and your experience too, like now having locks, having gone through braids, having gone through, wearing your fro and like all these different phases, um, can you describe your children's hair in like describing your hair, right? But then describing your children's hair and like that journey of seeing how their curls and their hair has come about in relation to yours.
Yeah, so I, as most people imagine when you have your children, you're like, oh, they're gonna, be these cute little whatever, and they're gonna be all curly and brown and tan and, what have you. My darling daughter came out with straight jet black hair, a lot of it, and then it all fell out. And I was like, whoa, what happened? So she had this straight jet black hair. It all fell out. And then as it was coming back in, it was still super straight.
Mhm.
And we'd wet it, and as we were washing her hair, we're like, oh wait, I see a little curl, baby. So then it was just like, okay, great, there's hope. So, I think a lot of, at least we went through this. Oh, is it going to curl? Is it not going to curl? Is it going to be straight? But
Yeah.
with as coarse as my hair is, and if you ask my grandma, I've got nappy hair, so my hair is tight, it's compact, and it's coarse. And
Yeah.
um it's very thick. I've had people tell me they don't want to braid my hair because my hair is too thick.
Right.
So,
Because we want
my hair.
healthy hair, but now we're penalized for healthy hair.
Right,
Cool.
right.
But
And I loved my fro, y'all. I
yeah.
loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was big, it was poofy, it was fun. And I remember going to my sister-in-law's wedding, and it was on the beach, and my hair was like blowing everywhere. And people were looking at me because, a lot of people assume afros don't have motion. No, like my
You'll
hair can
find
blow
it.
in the wind just like everyone else's. So experiences. But my darling daughter, her hair is curly. It shrinks up just like mine does.
Mhm.
She has shrinkage on a serious level, just like
Yeah.
mine. So when it's wet or she comes fresh out the shower, it's down in the middle of her back, almost to her butt. But
Mhm.
once it dries up and zoop, does that lovely shrinkage, it's
Yeah.
probably right past her shoulders. So, but hers is more like a coil, like a little springy,
They're like
loose coil,
ringlets
like a
almost. Yeah.
ringlet
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
Mhm.
So hers is like a slinky,
Yeah.
and mine is like a compact spring.
Like a
Um,
screw or like a
mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Like
it's
the
so
Z.
funny because yeah, and something that I've done with her is I pulled out a strand of hair, mine and hers, and I've shown her what they look like next to each other.
Mhm.
And so that way she understands that mommy has curly hair, because that baby has seen me with all different types of hair,
Mhm.
and she just knows mama can do fun things with her hair.
Mhm.
So my little Elias, he's only seen mommy with locks because he's 10 months, and I had it locked. He was 3 months to the day.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, this is all he knows. But Sophia's seen it all. She's 3.5, she's seen it all. Yeah. Hers is hers is coily. It's
Yeah.
cute.
Has the little you pull it and
Mm-hmm.
it like
You
springs.
pull it and it
Yeah.
ping.
Yeah. Like almost like what are those? Like the little Shirley Temple
Mm-hmm.
curls or
Yep.
something like that. And so I appreciate one, like you describing that difference in comparison, right? Like because curl patterns are different and that matters too. But like there are some properties, even if the curl is different, that are similar, right? So you talked about one like shrinkage being similar, even though the curls are different themselves. Um, really just like the some of the maintenance methods being similar as well. And so as you've been learning for this, right? Because you said her hair went from straight. And then with Eli, we're still kind of in the observation period, right? Because he's 10 months. But with Sophia
Mhm.
and her hair kind of being straight, and then now you're seeing these ringlets kind of, sprouting up, and Eli, even as he's getting older and his curls starting to take form, what did that look like? He has this one little curl in the middle of his head. Um, what did that look like for you, just recognizing this child's hair? He's going to be beautiful, but it's going to be different than mine. And, starting to take the steps to learn how to care for it.
Yeah, so her the realization that her hair was going to be different was expected. Because I didn't marry a black man. I
Yeah.
didn't procreate with a black man. So, I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna have little Afro babies, and we're not gonna have puffs and pom poms. We have a variation of a puff, but it's a little different, you
Yeah.
know. So moisturizing her hair was a big difference,
Yeah.
because I'm like, ooh, gotta grease my scalp, grease my hair, and, you know, do my things. I got my methods. And
Hmm.
for hers, I was like, oh, I need to do the same thing I did with mine, which is a porosity test. I was like,
Hmm.
who does porosity tests on their kids? No one thinks to do that.
Yeah.
So those were very important things to do to figure out what needs to be done to
Yeah.
care for her hair. And those were also like essential steps in me figuring out how to care for my own hair. Because Shannon will tell you, I did not want to do it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to talk about it. We're going to braid it. And then we're going to take it out of these braids, leave it out for about 2 good weeks, put it back in. So,
Right.
yeah. So, for Sophia's hair, it's different and it takes work. I think there was a bigger realization for the people in my family um, that her hair is not simple.
Mm.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Oh my
But
goodness.
but I think that, and especially for my husband's family, because they only know what they know, which is their
Straight
hair
hair.
type. Yeah. So they didn't understand that sometimes it takes a detangling and a
Yeah.
deconditioning and all of these other steps, and you can't just wash it, walk out, let it air dry and go on about your business. It doesn't work that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Very
So
good.
I think the realization was more on the other side of the family as opposed to mine, that it
Well,
takes a little bit more.
I'm interested because you said two things that I kind of want to like zoom in on about the porosity test and about your family not thinking like or coming to the realization that her hair was not simple. Um, so first porosity test, right? And so essentially when you're looking at your hair's porosity, it's like how does your hair absorb like water, right? Essentially, like, if I
Right.
get my hair wet, like is it gonna take a long time to absorb this water?
Yes.
Is it gonna take like a average, like semi decent period of time, or is it just gonna absorb it very quickly, right?
Right.
So part of that just being like really trying to understand like how much moisture, like how regularly do you need to wash and cleanse your child's hair, being one of the things that you took away from that versus the cadence that you do that for yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Because I remember when I first got married, my husband was washing his hair every day, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I have to. It's just what I do. And I'm like, no, that's not just what you do. We're going to learn about our hair, and we're not going to
Yeah.
wash it every day because you're stripping it, and you don't know that you're stripping it, but you weren't taught. Like, you just don't know. So we're going to learn.
Mhm.
And, so even he is scaled back because he realized that he was doing more damage than good,
Yeah.
and actually applying certain products to help keep moisture in his hair and keep his hair healthy because he's got a lot of hair. So it was like, you're going to have it, do it justice,
Yeah.
but with Sophia, yeah, he was doing bath time because I was working and he was trying to wash her hair every night. And I was like,
Oh,
honey, you can't do that. Like, no wonder it looks dry as a bone. You stripped it.
yeah. Shampoo every
Yeah,
day.
we can't do that. So, it's a learning curve. It's always going to be a learning curve with kids because no two kids are the same. They might be in the same family, come from the same parents, but hair can
Mhm.
be different. So, yeah, it was a big learning curve for all of us. And with Sophia's hair, we wash it every like 3 days, maybe 4,
Mhm.
sometimes once a week,
Yeah.
depending on what we do to it. But, and it depends on her sports. So she's in swim, so we have to accommodate for swim and
Mhm.
other things and dance and stuff. So,
Yeah. Were there any other things outside of porosity that you really tried to zero in on? Because I think it's important what you said. It's not even like just trying to copy somebody, but it's like let's just take some time, let's learn, let's observe our hair and how it reacts to
yeah.
certain things. So were there any other like observations or things that you tried to pay attention to when you were curating essentially like their hair care and maintenance
Her
routine?
routine. Yeah. Moisture. And oils and leave-in conditioners and like detanglers because my mom tried to use some detangler on her hair and it looked all nice and shiny and pretty for the day, and then by nightfall it was atrocious and
Mm.
like almost crunchy or like crusty, and I was like,
Yeah.
Mom, what
Yeah.
did you do? So I was like, what have you done to my child? So then I
Yeah.
wound up having to wash her hair again, and redo it. But all products don't work. And it's
Yeah.
a trial and error. Like life, everything's a trial and error. Thank God for refund policies. But
Yes. If it doesn't work, take it back.
take it back. Yeah,
Do
if it
not try
doesn't
and
work,
use the
take it
product.
back. I
Let us
am
know
a
what
product
encounter
junkie.
you have. Take it
Tried and
back.
I would have so many products had my apartment not burned down. So it forced me to start over and
Yes.
not
Yeah.
collect, because I was collecting things I didn't need and wasn't using, and it was a waste of money. I had all this money underneath my bathroom counter,
Yeah.
and it was just a waste. So if it don't work, take it back. But yeah, so with Sophia, I started with some of the products that I used for myself,
Mhm.
um, and just kind of tested and see. So that way I didn't waste any money,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I've got curls. Let's give it a shot and pray on it.
Mhm.
For a mom who doesn't have curls and doesn't know, you are going to have to, do some research and read some blogs and, learn about your child's hair. And really, it takes work. You have to put in the work. It's worth it. And once you get there, easy breezy, you find a good leave in. Now, it's not to say that it's always going to work, because products change just like hair changes.
That too.
And what worked on Sophia at 2 years old isn't working right now at 3.5,
Mhm.
because as kids grow, their hormones change. And as we grow, our hormones change, and hormones affect your hair. So, and even as a postpartum mama, your
Yeah.
hair is going to be a little different than what it was while you were pregnant and prior to your pregnancy. So things are
Yeah.
different. So
Come on, biology degree. We love it.
So, it's important to recognize where you are and
Yeah.
stop. Don't try to make it work if it ain't working. Just try something else. But moisture was a big thing for Sophia's hair, because it seems to lose moisture really quickly.
Mm.
And I remember we went to the beach and we were outside. We were sitting on the patio of the condo we rented, and her hair was soaking up all the moisture from the air. And you could
Yeah.
actively see it just like swelling and swelling. And I was like, oh, your hair needs moisture. She wasn't one at that point, but her
Yeah.
hair was drinking in this moisture, and it wasn't curly yet. It was still
Mhm.
straight. It was still very straight, and it was just drinking in the moisture from the air. So that was okay, we need to figure this out.
Yeah.
We need to get your hair a little happier and healthier. Because I mean, as a 7-month old, you're just like, oh, it's
I'm
fine.
vibing.
You don't need anything done to their hair. It's like, it's fine. Ah, they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I
They
think
do.
that's so important. One, because a couple of things that you said. So, since you did have curly hair, you kind of had a baseline to start from to kind of trial and error compare. And even if you are a parent or somebody that doesn't have curly hair, like just finding an essential starting point to say, like, this is what I'm going to test and then see and do
Yeah.
that kind of experimentation. But also knowing that it's okay. Like, if something doesn't work, like, it's okay, because
Oh,
all
yeah.
curls are not the same. Like, you and I both have coarse hair. Our curls aren't the same, And so, like
Our
really
hair's
just
different.
being okay, I think, and just if you accept that like all curly hair is still different, then it's just like, okay, like this is my base level. I have to learn something either way, and I'll experiment
Yeah.
and figure out what that is. But two, just the observations of like if there's something different happening, like you don't even have to fully understand
Yeah.
what the difference is. But like for you, Sophia's hair was still straight; it hadn't curled yet. But you took her to the beach, and it was just like swelling and absorbing. And so,
Crazy to me, because
yeah,
I know what my hair was like when I was in college and I got out of a meeting and it had just rained and I had just pressed my hair and I stepped outside and they were trying to talk to me. I said, I gotta go inside. My hair's swelling. I can feel it. I gotta go. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, I have to go. My hair is swelling from this rain.
yeah,
And so to know what that's like for curly hair, to see it on straight hair, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I was like, this isn't normal. Is this normal?
yeah.
Normal, you
Yeah.
know? it's not my normal, but it's hers. I
Yeah.
think one of the very important things is if you don't know, just ask. There's no
Yeah.
harm in asking, and it's very important to ask because you're equipping yourself to do the job effectively and do it well. I think sometimes as moms, no one wants to ask people for help. So
Mhm.
you don't ask and you just try, XYZ and this, that, and the other, but you could have skipped a couple steps. You just had to ask a
Yeah.
question, so make your life easy. Like, I am an advocate for making things easy and simple. So yeah, just ask. And if you don't know who to ask or where to start, you can always start with a family member. If you're married to someone that, is of a different race and has
Yeah.
experience with different types of hair, their hair is different from yours. So it's always a good starting point. You can ask a grandma or ask an auntie, ask the cool auntie. She might be able to help you, so it's just different.
Absolutely. And even to the experience of like having it at the beach, right? Like as you learn and research. So one of the things that came up just thinking about like products like humectants versus anti-humectants. So one of them being like products with ingredients that help to make sure that moisture is being drawn into your hair. That like, glycerin is a common humectant. I think you've seen a lot of things
Mm,
versus anti-humectants that make sure moisture is being sealed in and it doesn't escape, right? Like if you're in a dry climate. So just paying attention to those differences and observations, because even if hair is same in one area, curly hair really can, depending on the environment that you put it in, react in new ways. So just constantly having that observation lens on and that curiosity mindset, I think, versus the mindset that this is difficult or hard because it's just different. It's new,
yep.
and anything new requires that learning.
Yep.
And then I just love what you said, like finding community. I think that's something that's really important. I know I had an experience where somebody that I know who is a mom to Black kids, but is not Black herself, really just reached out to me because she was having issues detangling her daughter's hair. She was like, she had been recommended to use Mane and Tail. I think like the Mane and Tail, I think is what it's called, like the horse shampoo. And so I think like a good rule of thumb is like with curly hair, like people like use curly hair people products too, but like that was just the advice that somebody gave her. And so fact checking, like
Mm,
fact checking things, Google is a place, you know what I mean? Or like we have a lot of different resources, but like always just fact checking what you're told.
mhm.
And she asked me and I was able to just give her advice on like using aloe vera as something that like gives good for hair, like other products that I personally like that she could try and experiment on as a baseline. And she ended up like letting me know a while later that like it really worked out for her daughter's hair.
Yeah.
So like leaning into community and fact checking those things because you want to make sure that it's good community
Yeah.
that has like, that has the
You gotta
knowledge
do
and
your
like
own research.
yeah. So
Mhm.
like you have to couple community and research too. Like like
Yeah.
don't do one without the other, I think. And like once you know
Mhm.
like who valid sources are, then it's like, okay, I can lean in and trust you a little bit more. But you're also learning. And so learning is a vulnerable time and you just want to make sure that you're giving yourself all of the best options.
Yeah. But yeah, for truly though, because I know, like we recently talked, my sweet little pale skinned baby wanted braids like her cousin. Her cousin
Yeah.
is Black mixed with Black. And, Erin has all these beautiful little patterns and
Yeah.
designs in her braids, and she have all her beads. And Sophia goes, "Mommy, I want beads like Erin." And I went, "Okay,
Let's figure it
okay.
out. Let's
Um,
see what we can do.
I don't know how we gonna make this work, sugar lump, but we gonna make it work, And I braided her hair in a way that she loved. And I was very cautious not to weigh down her hair and put too many beads on it because, you know, Black hair is thicker and the strands are thicker and they can hold. But Sophia's little fine hair can't
Yeah.
hold on to weight like that, and it'll cause more damage than it will good. And it's for what? For her to look cute? No. We're not gonna
Yeah.
damage your hair just for you to be cute. I am not here for that. We're gonna save your edges and we are going to save your ends. So we adapted, and she had some little ponytails with like 5 or 6 braids in them, and she only had about 2 or 3 little beads, and she loved it. Y'all, she was swinging her little
Yeah.
hair. Now, look at my beads, Nana. She loved it. So, and we only kept it in for a week.
And that's fair. And even to the point of what you said about, because Black people can also have fine hair. I know
Yeah,
I have some friends too. So not all Black hair is coarse. And I think that even speaks to there's no one there's no one type of curly hair or Black hair
yeah,
amongst Black people too. So with Sophia, you were just able to like recognize another characteristic of her hair and say like, not only is her hair in ringlets, it's like high porosity and it's fine. And so you were able to use that to inform one baseline. I know what her curls look like, so I know like what her styles will essentially be like when her curls are in their healthy state. Two, I know how I need to go about moisturizing her hair because high porosity, that moisture goes in and out just as fast. And then three, you were able to say, okay, and her hair is fine. That means that the actual hair itself is thin, and so I can't put heavy styles on it. I can't put things that are going to be pulling and weighted. And if I do, I can't do it for long because that will be damaging in the long run. But
right,
also wanting her to be able to embrace, like, yeah, you're Black, kid, and like you get to like here's how we can navigate, like you getting to
it
have
was
that experience and embrace your culture. Yeah, and like connect with your family as well, and all of those things are important, and in a way that like gives her an appreciation for Blackness, Black hair, and
Mhm.
Black styles as well. And so I think all of those things are important, and they come from learning. And
Yeah,
just to recap for people listening, like if your hair is fine or coarse or medium, like the porosity of your hair, what the actual curls look like, learning those things and really just being okay, like with whatever the hair is, I think is a very powerful medium to then like empower the hair that you're caring for.
absolutely, absolutely. Because I know growing up, I was taught that my hair was nappy and that it wasn't good hair or things of that nature. So
Mhm.
I didn't want to do my hair. I was like, ugh, this is a burden. But it's not. I love my hair. And I'm teaching my
Yeah.
child to love her hair. Because y'all, she'll walk out, she'll be like, Mama, my curls are popping. And I'm like, you know what? You're right, Shug. They sure are. You look good. She's
Sophia
like,
may be the most verbal. She may
yeah,
be the most verbal 3.5-year-old on the
she
world.
is. She'll tell you. She'll tell you how she feels. For sure.
Yeah. And she's even told
Mhm.
me like, TT, I like your hair when it's in twists. And I love that she appreciates
All
hair.
style.
Yeah, all styles. I
The
think
way
that's
that
really
it is. Some
uh,
mornings I won't even do her hair, and she's like, "Mom, my hair looks amazing." Pull her bonnet off, and go, "I look so good."
we love a confident queen.
Hmm.
Um, so I want to also double back to what you said about your family recognizing that her hair was not simple and talk a little bit more about that.
I think simple for some people is means simple means something different for everyone.
Mhm.
So simple for my in-laws is exactly that. I wash my hair, I brush it, I get out the shower, I brush it, and I go on about my business. I let it air dry, I go out while it's wet, all these different things, and then poof, done. So when it came to, I think Sophia, I was doing bath time with Sophia, and one of them was on FaceTime with us while we were doing bath time. And she goes, my goodness, why does it take so much? And there's so many steps, and you're having to like brush your hair while you're in the bathtub, and now you're putting a shower cap on. And I was like, yeah, it's just part of the process.
Yeah, sure.
This is part of our process. And this is a simplified version of our process. So, it's not that it's difficult, it's just new to them because they're not used to it. And there is another biracial baby in the family, but her hair is worlds apart from
Yeah.
Sophia's. Sophia's black and white and whatever else is mixed in there, but
Mhm.
black and white. And her hair is in these ringlets, and it's all those things. Our darling niece, her hair is almost bone straight, and
Mm.
she's Puerto Rican and white, and so sure we're both brown, but
Worlds of
worlds apart. And, her hair takes different care. Her care is more like the mother's hair care, as opposed to Sophia's hair care being more like her mother's hair care, which is me. So it's just very different from them. So they're just not used to it. But yeah, it was a interesting experience. I was like, these are the things needed to keep her hair healthy. And, these are the things needed to keep my hair healthy. And
Yep.
this is curly hair 101 for you. And I know they'll always come up, they'll be like, oh, her hair smells so good. What do you put in? And I'm like, leave-in conditioner and a detangler and a couple other things. And they're like, oh, that's a lot. Like, it's not. These are the basic things to keep our hair good.
Yeah.
I think mine is LCO, and she needs her LOC methods,
Yeah.
and we make it work.
Yeah. And even knowing and recognizing maybe even the same products, but in a different order. Like, just like this is the thing that gives her hair health and like the best kind of outcome and lasts the longest, keeps it moisturized, all of those things. I think is a powerful revelation as well.
That was a big step.
Yeah.
So I was like, mine uses this. Let's try it. And we tried it. It didn't last.
Yeah.
So I went, okay, switch it up. Let's see what works.
Yeah.
And you cannot put shea butter on her hair because it's too heavy.
It is very heavy. Yeah, I was like, it's a very heavy product. Like, I've used shea butter sometimes. Like, if I'm out of everything else, and even so, I'm like, all right, I gotta get my other product soon.
I've always used it on my hair, and it works pretty well for me, but different hair. Shea butter is a little too butter. I think we used like jojoba oil. That one was nice and made her all silky, and she was like, "Wee." She's so funny. She's so funny.
I love that. Okay. Well, as we are winding down, I have a couple more questions. So when it comes to like learning, I think you've talked a lot about just like the strengths and the experimentation. Was there any one like biggest learning curve in particular?
For me, yes, because I coached gymnastics for about 14 years. So when I got married, I was like, Jesus, boys. I was like, boys. I was like, surely he's not going to torture me with ponytails. No, I've done that. Well, my curly haired cutie.
Girl, yeah.
So a lot more ponytails than I anticipated. Because I was like, I don't want any more glitter and no more Miss Brittany. My ponytail's not straight. Well, that's what I have. And
mommy.
Yeah, now it's mommy. My ponytail's crooked. You didn't braid my braid right, Yeah. So with that being said, I did a lot of hair that was not like mine, which I'm so grateful and blessed to have had the experience, because when it came to my kids, it helped. So trying to do like French braids on her hair, which I could throw a cornrow in my hair and be like, ooh, yep, laid, done.
Yeah.
No. Sophia wants 2 braids going back, and it takes extra products that I'm not used to using. Because I'm like, part that, split this, braid it down, going about your business. Yeah. Sophia, it's not like that. With Sophie, you have to, her hair is always all wispy and like everywhere. Yeah. You actually have to put something there to lay it and keep it apart and things. And then as you're gathering, things are like trying to get away and run away from you, and your braid don't stay tight, and it's just like, why? I'm like, I'm Black and I know how to braid. This should work. It's not working, So I have, over the last 3 years, had to practice makes perfect her braids when she wants her hair braided down, or if she needs a French braid for baseball because she wants 2 little pigtails, So braiding on not my hair
Yeah.
was a huge learning curve.
Texture on a different.
Yeah. Which I used to braid my college roommate, Jill, but her hair was longer, and it wasn't curly. It's just straight. I could do a fishbone on straight hair. But this like curly, it's trying to go this way and I'm trying to catch it and like finger work it. It's just, it's a job.
Motions look like you're trying to crochet.
Exactly. And that's but which crocheting might be easier. Crocheting to me is so easy. So this is not.
Yeah.
This mama's still working. It's a very humbling experience to have to braid hair that is not like
Yeah.
yeah, and twisted and it wants to instantly unravel.
I think that's kind of freeing. I appreciate you sharing that though, because like I think for like parents who may not, like have the same hair as their kids, I can imagine feeling overwhelming to learn something, so different. But it's like even if you did have this experience, like it still might be challenging. So in a way, it's like we're all in some sense starting at a level playing field,
Yeah,
exploring something
for
new.
sure.
And so it takes, I guess, like away some of the hair care shame of not knowing what to do.
Oh yeah.
So everybody's figuring it out.
Everyone. And even if they say they're not, they're lying because they are. Everyone's figuring it out. Because like I said, what worked a couple years ago ain't gonna work today. Your hair's been through changes, your body's been through changes. Like, even if you don't think it has, on a biological level, changes are always happening. Genetic shifts and things are always happening. So even if you are unaware that something's going on, something's going on. So hair is a very humbling process.
Yeah.
Hair is a very humbling process. Yeah. I think as a mom, when your child goes, Mama, I really want this hairstyle, and you have no idea what to do, you don't want to disappoint your baby. 1. 2, you want them to be happy and you want them to love their hair and love themselves. And because your hair is like one of the first things people see, it can also be one of the first things that you feel judged about. And trying to lean into giving or learning, what's necessary to do the job is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want my little curly cutie to be happy. And she talking about them beads and those braids for about 2 weeks. And then I said, okay, Amazon, here we go. We're gonna swing it. Amazon and a Walmart order, and Sophia had about 17 braids.
Yeah.
My husband was like, Jay goes, how long is this gonna take? This is taking. I was like, leave us alone. We are watching Moana, and she's fine. And we got snacks. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Yes.
We're making it work.
I love that. Okay. So what thoughts would you share with others that are learning to care for curly hair and hair that's different than their own? Any
Be
final
patient.
thoughts?
Be patient. Be kind to yourself. Definitely be patient. It's a learning curve. It's a learning process. The same way it takes you time to learn anything else, it's going to take you time to learn this. So be patient. Give yourself plenty of grace. My blanket for everything is there's grace for that. There is grace for trial and error. If it was easy, everyone would do it, and everyone can do it, but you just have to give yourself some grace. So, yeah, I mean, once you learn, you're going to be like, ooh, I got this. I'm a pro.
Yeah.
But as long as you feel like it, you are, so as long as that little curly hair cutie is happy and so are you, it's going to be a good day. And if your child leaves loving their hair, what we want is good self-esteem in our children. And we don't want them to go to school or wherever they go with their friends and feel insufficient in some type of way because they haven't learned to love their hair by loving themselves. So one of the books that was on my my baby registry was Please Don't Touch My Hair. Yeah. And it's a children's book that says exactly that. Don't touch my hair. And I love it because so many people, when I had my afro, thought it was appropriate to sink their fingers into my hair. And I'm like, excuse me, don't do that. It's not appropriate. Don't do that. And I would have kids who, children don't understand all the time. And I'd have kids who I was coaching, and these were small white children. And they asked me, they're like, Miss Brittany, why does your hair look like that? And I kindly told them, because God made it that way. And that's the way it grows out of my head, and I've taught Sophia, this is what grows out of your head. And it's beautiful, so you have to instill confidence so that they can stand in the mirror and go, I'm cute and I'm adorable and I'm smart and I'm wise and, I love my curls. So
Is that what
it's
Sophia says
confidence.
to herself?
Yeah. And she does, so she's a trip. So, be patient, be kind to yourself, and instill some confidence.
Yeah. And the confidence that's like, no curls are better. They're
Mm-hmm.
all beautiful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. You don't want the things grandmas say where they're like, people would kill for your baby's hair. And it's like, no, they should appreciate what they have because it's still beautiful. It's all good hair.
Yeah.
It's healthy. It's good. Hair is hair.
Yes. I'm laughing because I'm like, also the experience of people trying to touch your hair. A story for another day, but I'll just say that one time I got into the habit of touching people back, and they didn't take to it well. So if you don't like it being done to you, don't do it to other people.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story on that.
Yes.
And with that being said, Brittany, our last question of the episode, and I'm going to kind of make it twofold. What is an affirmation that you would say to your hair right now? And then what is an affirmation that you would say to your kids' hair right now? It can be the same. It can be different.
An affirmation to my hair would probably have to be, we are still experimenting and we are still growing in love with it. I've always loved my braids. So I was like, locks, why not? It's like permanent braids. This is easy. But, sometimes the husband that we have in our head don't match the husband that we get. The picture I had for my locks is not what I have, so we are still learning and loving it, and we're just gonna take it for what it is and see where it goes. If that means that we get it done differently again, then so be it. But if not, great too. An affirmation for my children's hair is be wild and free and enjoy. And I love that because I tell that to Sophia all the time. And I'll ask her how she wants her hair. She goes, I want to be wild and free today. And I'm like, you do that, girl. And she loves it. So yeah, it's great. So those are my two.
I love that. Be wild and free and enjoy. And
Yeah.
we're still growing and experimenting. Man,
Yeah.
that's so powerful. Well, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us today. For those who are listening, thanks for coming on the journey. I love you so much, friend. Love my little God, littles. And happy to just broach a part of this conversation. Hair is so big and so all-encompassing. So I'm happy that we were able to touch on this and this experience today. And for those listening, remember, until next time, that all hair is good hair. Your hair is good hair, and that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So we'll do it again soon. Bye, everyone.